Today's just the start of the Big 12 and Power 5 talk to come. Listen to JJ and Alex Monday on your drive home. Afternoons from 3 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's 1st and 12, and it's the final segment of the show on this Football Tuesday here on KSL News Radio. Coming up next will be the BYU Football Coaches Show with head coach Kalani Sitake, Mitch Harper, and Alex Kirry with you. We're going to give our Week 4 game predictions for the biggest games in the Big 12 Conference. And let's start off with the big one. Or should we wait for the biggest one? Which one should we go with?
We should wait for the biggest one.
Okay,
I think
right,
we do that one at the very end. I'm just really disappointed you didn't put Oklahoma State and Tulsa. Like I know those aren't a conference game, but that is just a big one for me personally. I see how the Pokes do.
I think the Pokes win, but I don't want to dive into that one too much. How about West Virginia at Kansas? Do the Mountaineers keep that God bless the Mountaineers energy going in Lawrence?
Absolutely not. I think that Kansas is ready to punch somebody in the mouth at home. I think that they are primed in West Virginia. That was all heart. When he talked about grit, we got grit in our teeth. I'm telling you, West Virginia got that win last week. A little bit of an outlier, I think, for them. It's not that they're a bad team. I just think that Kansas is a better team. I think they're better coached right now. I think they have better talent across the board, and they're playing there in Lawrence. Kansas really likes this new stadium. I think they get this win. I don't think they just get this win. I think they win it. I think they're double-digit favorites, right? Isn't that what you said? I think they win this thing by 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Kansas wins this one. West Virginia still, they're pretty banged up still, and a lot of players that were banged up the past few weeks. So Kansas, I think they're rested. They're coming off a bye week, and they're probably ticked about that border war loss that they had against Missouri. So I'll go with Kansas. How about Arizona State at Baylor? Sneaky, awesome matchup. Which, by the way, pretty cool too. I think we're seeing signs of the new media rights deal. Triple header on Network Fox.
Ooh,
so
nice.
you got all these Big 12 games in network spots. Arizona State and Baylor getting some network television treatment. How do you think this game plays out?
Yeah, and Arizona State. I mean, that's Arizona State and Baylor. This is a much-watched football. You have to see this game. It's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be close, but I think Baylor hosting actually gives them the edge. And I think that Dave Aranda and his guys turn a little bit of a corner, getting a win and being a little bit more big britches football that they've been needing to step into at Baylor. And it's not to say that Arizona State has lost their touch or anything. They're going to a hostile environment, which obviously Auburn didn't care about, going into McLean Stadium this year and getting a win over Baylor by a couple touchdowns. I just don't think that Arizona State is totally there yet. And I think that Baylor is going to answer the bell. I think Baylor gets this win over Arizona State. 3 to 6 point win, probably something in that range. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
It's a classic Big 12 matchup where it's a coin flip game. I'm going to go with ASU. The offenses are going to, and the quarterbacks are going to get all the headlines in this game with Robertson and Sam Levitt, but I love some of the defensive personnel in this matchup. Keaton Thomas, one of the best linebackers in the Big 12. He's second in tackles, but then Jordan Crook, too, at Arizona State. I think this is going to be a physical football game that, Baylor's got some questions on the defensive side. And I think those questions, I like some of the individual talent, but the overall scheme, they've been kind of attacked. Even Samford had some of the moments last week where they had success on Baylor. So some of those, I like Arizona State's defense a lot more than Baylor's. So I'm going to go with ASU to get the win, but it's going to come down to the wire.
BYU goes to East Carolina, take on the Pirates out there. Purple and gold out there in Greenville, North Carolina. It looks like an off-brand team, but they play a little bit tougher than you might think. This is one of those teams that my kid will go, so are they an FCS team? And I go, no, they're not. No, they are not. They were when I was growing up. But this is a team that can get you out there. And I think that this was a conversation. The defensive coaches are taking seriously the fact that Hauser, the quarterback at East Carolina, is throwing for 300-plus yards a game. They throw the ball 40-something times a game, too. So this defensive backfield at BYU's got to be dialed up. We'll see how this thing works out, but I think BYU goes in. That defense is too much for East Carolina. They have not seen this type of talent and this type of speed on the defensive side of the football. And even if Bear gets going off to a little bit of a slow start, which I know they're going to try to rattle the kid, I still think BYU ends up with like a 24-10 type of a win over East Carolina.
Yeah, I think BYU wins this game. I think they win it potentially by two touchdowns. I think BYU, a lot more talent, a lot more depth than East Carolina. East Carolina's tempo is going to be interesting to watch how BYU responds to that. Weather shouldn't be too bad in this game. It's going to be a little bit rainy early on, but should be clear for that game. I think BYU wins this game. They honestly should pull away because East Carolina, they had that dominant performance last week, but Coastal Carolina is bad, really bad. And, credit to East Carolina for shutting them out, but I think BYU's ground attack with LJ Martin, I think that wins the day, and BYU feasts on East Carolina, particularly in the trenches. So I got BYU by about 10 points in this game.
The big one, of course, up on the hill at Rice-Eccles Stadium this weekend, Texas Tech goes into the University of Utah. Is that the first time that the Red Raiders have ever gone to Rice-Eccles Stadium? If not, it was sometime in the 40s. I bet it's the first time.
Last time these teams met was 1973, but first ever trip by Tech to Salt Lake. They've only made one other trip to the state of Utah. That was 2 years ago against BYU. But
Batty Spitgate.
Yes, we'll see if we get any Spitgate in this one. But big noon kickoff. I'm going with Texas Tech to win this game. I picked them in the preseason to win the Big 12. I'm rolling with Tech. In the words of Joey McGuire, I guess, wreck them whenever he greets people. I just think, too, that Texas Tech, I'm buying in on Baron Morton, too. 11 touchdowns, only one interception. The competition's been awful. But, man, he is looking outstanding. And I just think that, Texas Tech, they've got a little bit of an edge to them, a lot more than people give them credit. I think they're going to show up, and I think they're going to put up some numbers. I'm going to go with Texas Tech, but it's coming down to the wire. I think they win this one, say, 37-34. I think Texas Tech wins this one.
You said something interesting earlier in the program. You said, if this game gets to whoever gets to 40 first wins. And I thought, well, that's crazy. Those are two pretty good defenses. And then I went, hold on a minute. We've seen really, really good defenses at Rice-Eccles Stadium before. And if I'm thinking about that USC, the Cam Rising moment of glory up at Rice-Eccles.
2022.
In the blackout game when they won 43-42 on a 2-point conversion, gutsy win by him. I think that Utah has the edge in this game because of where they're playing this thing. I think they have the edge in this game from a head coaching perspective. And I think they have the edge in this game, the offensive line over the defensive line of Texas Tech. And I just think that they are in a moment right here where Devin Dampier could launch into greatness with a weekend that I think that he's hoping for. I think Utah wins this game, and I think that it's the flip side of this. I think it's going to be a 41-34 game. I'm okay with that 40-point, the first to 40 wins type of deal. I think both these offenses are going to keep rolling. It's going to be hard to stop either one of them, even with really, really good defense on the Utah side. I think Utah gets this win. I think it's going to be 41-34. And the Utes win up at Rice-Eccles Stadium, and they get that inside track to the Big 12 championship game.
It's going to be a great game. I think the one thing that does make me pause on my pick, and I'm going against the grain, is just Texas Tech's not good on the road. They are not good on the road under Joey McGuire. 6-10 since he took over. They've lost their last 6 road openers to open seasons.
They almost lost at Wyoming a couple years ago.
They did.
Mitch.
They lost at Wyoming.
They lost at Wyoming. What are we doing?
But
what is your mind telling you right now?
I just think Texas Tech, I've just really bought into their personnel. And that roster, maybe I'm getting over just impressed with the money thrown around. Cody Campbell
this did
best roster that the Big 12 can buy.
Did you see the Cody Campbell commercial that's rolling around on TV too? And he's like, and that's why we should repeal the Broadcast Act of 1961. I'm like, Cody Campbell swinging the money. Come on.
I just think, too, I've been just really impressed with Baron Morton. But I think this is going to be truly an awesome game. And I want it to come down to the wire because that's what the Big 12 needs. Just an awesome showcase game for the league. And then it gets talked about throughout the entire day in college football, whether it's studio updates, whatever it is. Everyone will point to that game as an early reference because it sets the tone for the day of the weekend that is in college football.
It's a big weekend for the Big 12 because of that game, and I certainly hope it's a good one. And we hope that you'll dial in next week to another edition of First and 12 right here on KSL News Radio. For Mitch Harper, I'm Alex Kirry. Enjoy the Coaches Show, BYU football with Kalani Sitake coming up next right here. We'll see you next week, everybody. For Mitch Harper, for our producer Gustavo, we say adieu.